So I says, yo, haha, it's all in the words.
What's up, what's up, what's up, what's up, what's up, what's up? I'm in the mood to run my mouth. Alright, I am literally rendering a video that I just recorded maybe 30, 40 minutes ago. And as I put it, you know, let me say, okay, while it was still getting edited, I was like, okay, I'm going to try and find something to watch. And on my own page, I saw this George Carlin and Richard Pryor interview on the Carson Tonight Show. So I clicked on it, right? And immediately, this advertisement comes up for Cheetos. Well, Chester Cheetah is rapping. And I immediately got triggered. I just got finished watching a video from Celeb Source, and he was and one of the topics that he was talking about was how Sweetie had said that the men in hip hop is not doing any justice, anything good for the culture with all that shoot 'em up bang bang that they rap about. Well, a hip hop artist, D dot something, he was like, his response to that was, well, how can you say that when the females are basically glorifying prostitution? And as far as the definition for prostitution goes, it's, when a person is having sex with someone other than, boyfriend, girlfriend, or husband, wife, and in return they're getting money, gifts, or other royalties. And so he was like, how can you sit back and talk some shit about what the men are doing when you females are rapping about this type shit here? I just watched it. I wonder why it's not. It must have been something old. So anyway, I'm on Second Life. Second Life is a platform that's good for having conversations, meeting up with other people. Basically, whatever you can't do in real life, you can do in a Second Life. All right. I suggest, if you're really interested in that, look up videos on Second Life, and you'll find out what it's about. But I DJ on there, all right, and I want to be a different type of DJ than the ones that I'm hearing that I go to their sets and I hear what they're playing, and I don't like it because, for one, they are playing a lot of hip hop or music where there's no substance to the music. Okay, and I'm like, man, I don't want to be like that. I don't want to play any music where, folks are calling each other the N word or the B word. And with that in mind, when no, with that in mind, right now, I'm trying to go through my whole catalog of music and reorganize it, get rid of music, you know what I'm saying? Get rid of the explicit shit and put some edited shit, the edited versions on there. And another thing that I just got finished talking about on this video that's uploading now is like one of the topics is hip hop and prisons. And it's like Crazy Bone just got finished, maybe a week or two or whatever, matter of days or whatever, read this letter that this guy that was with Crazy Bone and a few other people at some unknown place. He was like, man, in that meeting, it was said to the people who stayed, because a few folks was like, I'm not signing any disclosures, you know what I'm saying? I'm not signing any papers saying that I'm about to, keep my mouth shut or whatever, so I'm about to bounce. But then a few other people stayed. Crazy Bones said that he stayed because he was curious. So anyway, what they were talking about was how in the 80s, they wanted to, when I say they, I'm talking about people who invest their money and who own private prisons. And their plan it's like before the private prisons really launched. So there was like, their plan is to use hip hop as a tool to get the consumers to listen to a bunch of trash and make sure that all they're listening to is negativity, so that way what they think about in their daily life is negativity. If I could simplify that, I would say this. In the 80s, we had a lot of conscious rap. We had a lot of hip hop artists who follow the foundation of what hip hop is, and they were on positivity. They was on, motivation. They was on, giving, planting a seed inside of the listener's ears. You know what I'm saying? They were educating themselves. You know what I'm saying? Now you got to remember that coming out of the Panther Party movement, you know what I'm saying? It's like people had to, I'm not going to say had to, but there were a lot of folks in the culture that wanted to hold on to the principles of let's do for self, let's band together and let's help each other get through this crazy world. But for the people who own the record industry, the music industry, they were like, scratch that. Nah. We don't want to push your music. What we want to do is we want to put a plan, make sure that your culture is going to put money in our pockets in all kind of nasty, crazy ways. And one of those ways was the more, glorifying the shoot 'em up bang bang thing. You know what I'm saying? Putting a mentality inside of the ears of the listeners that, selling dope is the way to get out of the hood. You know what I'm saying? Make this money fast and spend that money fast, but at the same time, they were going to prison fast. And when you're dealing with the politics of it all, you gotta deal with the whole Ronald Reagan, Oliver North, you know what I'm saying, the whole freeway Ricky Ross, you know what I'm saying. When you look and you dive into the facts of what was going on in the 80s politically and how they were funding these different wars, or I would say military agendas, political agendas, the way they was funding that was by putting drugs into the minorities' way of life in order for them to go through that revolving door of the prison system. Hope I'm saying this right. I hope I'm saying this right. So when I saw this Chester Cheetah rapping, I was like, it's just another reminder that for the longest time, folks who are not from my culture, from my race, they have capitalized, meaning they have taken everything, all of our originality, and they have stolen it, and they have refurbished it, meaning that they have put their own brands on it to profit from it. And we allow them to do that. We allow them to do that. Master P, one of the first people who was like, nah, man, I'm gonna own my own masters, but I'm gonna make a, what he do, like an 80-20 deal, basically. I'm gonna get 80% of all the proceeds or whatever, the royalties or whatever, but I'm gonna give you 20% so that way you can distribute my stuff. But you know what I'm saying, for the record label, you can't tell me how much music I could put out or when I have deadlines or anything like that. I do what I want to do with my label, my music, and all you need to worry about is distributing my music. Master P and Master P just opened up the doors to entrepreneurship in the hip hop industry. You know what I'm saying? Of staying independent. And the record labels didn't like that, so there was a political war between independent labels and politics. So, I mean, there's a history about it, and it triggers me to see that even still today, everything that was ours is being used in so many different ways, and we do not get the credit for it. You know what I'm saying? We don't get our 40 acres and a mule. You know what I mean? We don't get anything from it. It's kind of like I was watching an interview with Bill Bellamy, and Bill Bellamy was the creator of the term booty call, but he was young and he didn't know anything about putting a trademark, copywriting, ownership of the phrase booty call. And right now, booty call, you know what I'm saying, could have made him so much money. And it's the same thing with the vernacular, meaning out of all the ways that we changed language in the United States. Out of everybody who said a new word that, you know what I'm saying, that created a buzz and had other people saying that word, never knew to put a patent on that, basically. You know what I'm saying? And just about every inventor, everybody who has contributed to this country had no idea that they could continue to get royalties from that if they knew how to make the proper deals. And it's just, it reminds me of Africa and how Africa had nuclear weapons, but they gave it up. They just gave it up. You have to research that shit. You know what I'm saying? So, for me, it's hard to enjoy a lot of things because I get triggered. And I don't like being in a position to where I have enough knowledge to read between the lines and to see the fuckery. I have a disclaimer, and it says, I'm not the smartest person, but I'm not the dumbest person. There's some things I've done my research on, and there's some things that I haven't a whole lot to do research on still. But what I need people to do is, if they're listening to me, question everything that I'm saying, do their own research on the topics that I talk about, forming their own opinions of what I'm talking about on these topics, and to share that information with other people. Sharing is caring. You know what I'm saying? So, getting back to the whole DJ thing, for years it's been hard for me to enjoy music because I don't want to hear all that bullshit. I don't want to hear no religious music. I don't want to hear no country music. Because when you think about the origins of country, you go back to blues. You know what I'm saying? When you think about, I don't fuck with rock and all that other shit because where they stemmed from was from us. You know what I'm saying? Just the whole thing of music. You know what I'm saying? The drum comes from out of Africa. The drum creates the rhythm. You know what I'm saying? It's the heartbeat of every song. You know what I'm saying? It helps the tempo. All that, just it's one of those things where there's so much information out there that a person, if they get too consumed about it, they'll drive themselves crazy about it. And then, on the other hand, if you get so much information and you try to share it, there's people who do not want my race and my culture to get this information, so they'll call the people who have the information, they'll call them crazy. They'll discredit everything that they've learned and all the information that they're trying to share. So one way or another, the whole act of slavery is still existing. The whole Willie Lynch letter is still creating damage and havoc to what's going on. It's still keeping us in fighting against ourselves. It's fighting against each other. We won't come together as a balled fist and knock out our adversaries. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. It's crazy. It's just crazy. So I'm gonna get out of here, man. I just wanted to get this off my chest. It angers me, but I'm gonna get back to that video so I can try to find some humor. Now, George Carlin and Richard Pryor, when you listen to their stand-ups or anything they have to say, those two men right there was like, fuck the system. This is what I got to say. This is my truth. You know what I'm saying? I'm tired of y'all fucking with me and fucking with other people that I care about. You know what I'm saying? So, when I sit back and I watch this video, I'm not going to forget, you know what I'm saying, and I'm not going to forgive all the fuckery that has gone on in this country, around the world, for the people who came out of Africa. Now, mind you, I'm not ignorant to the fact that Africans sold other Africans into slavery. Before they sold other Africans into slavery, they enslaved other Africans. So the whole idea of the rich and the poor was still going on in Africa regardless, before the slave trade. So a whole history of it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, man, there's so much information out there to research and learn, but every now and then a person has to try to find some peace. You know what I'm saying? They got to try to, get away from this wild, wild world and try to enjoy something out of the day. Otherwise, you'll sit here all day, every day, whenever you're awake and whenever you're not eating or doing whatever you're doing hygiene-wise or doing whatever you're doing for your livelihood. All your free time will be going into finding out what they don't want us to know. They're constantly getting rid of information because they don't want the next generation, or even us at this generation, to be reminded of the bullshit and the fuckery that they did to us. You know what I'm saying? I'm lucky to have a family member that stays locked on all day, every day. I'm very grateful for that. My fam, shares so much with me that I shut the fuck up. I shuts up. You know what I'm saying? I shut up and I listen. You know what I mean? Even though I might be reminded of some shit that I've already, known, I appreciate everything that my fam has to say to me. I appreciate the fact that they're in my life and they're taking the time to plant a seed with, in my spirit, in my mind. You know what I'm saying? So, a lot of us, we need that. And that's the problem. As one of the problems is that our mentors aren't in our households anymore. Our mentors are so hard to find. But, like with the video that I just posted, YouTube and other platforms, they have information. All you have to do is plug in the right search words and you'll get that information. But then at the same time, you got to be careful because, due to the Patriot Act, you have the government that's right there, listening and watching what you're doing over the internet, through your phones, all through the electronics. You know what I'm saying? But still, we gotta live. One way or another, we still gotta live. You know what I'm saying? Through this roller coaster of life that we're on. We gotta live. We gotta have some type of balance. Gotta find some type of harmony. My parent used to have this plaque that said you have to make your own sunshine. And I'm just like, man, it's something that I can never forget. Out of all the choices that I've made in my life, and the different ways that I've messed up my life, I have to find the balance in order to appreciate the lessons that I've learned from the choices that I've made to put me in a position of life that I'm living now, for the good or for the bad. So as soon as I get aggravated, I have to remember that if I didn't make all those choices, I wouldn't be living the way that I'm living now. And I'm not mad at the way that I'm living now. Now, if I had a time machine, I'd still go back and make some changes. You know what I'm saying? And who knows what my life would be like after that, due to the current, you know what I'm saying, due to the chain reaction of what I would change. You know what I'm saying? The course of life that would happen after I made changes. You know what I'm saying? So, parenting is hard nowadays, and sometimes it's hard to do the right thing, and it's so easy just to be lazy and do the wrong thing. But when it comes down to choice, yeah, man, when it comes down to music, when it comes down to all this other entertainment, we make the choices of what we put into our spirit. We feed our spirit with the shit that, you know what I'm saying, that we are consumed with. And we gotta make those right choices of what we put into our system. Whether it's food, entertainment, our mental health is always, being fucked with. You know what I mean? Our physical health is always being fucked with. And I've made so many videos about, man, learn how to farm, learn how to, hunt. You know what I mean? Become independent. Get away from city-state assistance. You know what I'm saying? Unplug yourself from the infrastructure that they're not trying to fix, but yet we are basically dependent on the city and the state. You know what I'm saying? And it's like getting off the grid to a certain degree would help out a lot of us. It would help out a lot of us. It really would. Somebody had asked the question of, I watched a video of Jim Brown and he was on the Dick somebody, Dick Clark, no, I'm trying to find it. I like to save information on these playlists. Was it entertainment, motivation? It's a Brown history. Let me check out Brown history. Because he was talking to, he had the governor of Georgia. Here it is. Lester Maddox and Jim Brown get into heated debate on segregation. And then Lester Maddox storms off the show. And it was the Dick Cavett show. So, and then here it is, Crazy Bone tells the real reason why the industry, basic the same thing about, hip hop fueling the demise, fueling the ignorance, so that the consumers will get trapped in that revolving door of the prison system. You know what I'm saying? KRS-One has a channel. It's like a school of it's a school where he's trying to educate folks on the 5 elements of hip hop and how it has a lot to do with our spirit and our life, and the way that we walk up and down the street each day and try to be somebody in this world. I'm trying to find it before we get out of here, before I get off of here. It's like this lecture right here. It's a great lecture. And it's like man. I'm gonna have to edit this shit where I'm just I'm in. Here it is. Okay, here it is. It's the temple of hip hop. And KRS-One, he breaks down what he believes his truth is about hip hop and the relevancy, how hip hop, had sprung a whole change in the way that we live today. When hip hop was first brought into this space that we live in, into our minds, into our spirit, it changed and it altered the way that we live, and it's still making change to the way that the future is going to be. So when you think about everybody in the world, everyone around the globe who's rapping in their own languages, in their own dialect, whatever, it comes from us right here in New York, right there in New York, you know what I'm saying, right there on the East Coast, but it's traveled around the globe, and everybody's getting a piece of it, but we don't get the credit that we really deserve. As far as the money go, I believe KRS-One said that hip hop is a $10 billion machine, or it rakes in $10 billion damn near every year, but we don't see none of that money. You know what I'm saying? The originators, even our society and our culture, you know what I'm saying, we don't receive none of it. When I talk about 40 acres and a mule, the empty promises that has been given to us since slavery and after, slavery, and it's crazy, man. But anyway, I'm gonna get out of here. I've gotten what I've wanted off my chest, and it's all about growth. You know what I'm saying? So do your research, share your opinions with folks, and try not to fuck with people's lives. You know what I'm saying? To help people grow. Give somebody some peace and harmony anytime and every time that you can. You know what I'm saying? Alright, I'm gonna get out of here. Peace.